So the next bill we'll hear is Representative Mueller's bill, House File 4215. And we will be laying over the bill, so I will move to lay over House File 4215. Representative Mueller, I believe you have the A2 amendment. Any comments to the A2 amendment?
Sorry, we're just getting ourselves situated. Thank you, Chair Mueller. And yes, the A2 amendment, I would like to move the A2 amendment. When looking at the bill, we saw that some of the language was a little clunky, where it would allow, it was asking each agency to give a report, and instead we just want DPS to give one report of the agencies that receive this grant. And that it also specifies that DPS can only retain 2.5% of the grant amount for administering the grants.
All right, any discussion to the A2 amendment? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion prevails and the A2 amendment is adopted. All right, please tell us about your bill as amended.
Well, thank you so much, Chair Mueller, and thank you, members of the committee. As you can see, I have a special guest with me today, and yes, Officer Sachs is amazing, but we are talking about Otis today, who is next to us. And so I'm really excited to have Otis. And yes, you are able to come and talk and touch him, so it's okay. You know, I have talked to several law enforcement agencies around the state. I've toured law enforcement training facilities. I have been on a ride-along, and every time I talk to law enforcement agencies and public and first responders, the statement is always the same. You call first responders on the worst day of your life. And according to an FBI Perspectives article in July 2023, police and other first responders are exposed to an average of 178 critical incidences throughout their career, while an average person encounters only 2 or 3 traumatic events in their life. This requires us to understand that the job of a police officer and a first responder is very different than the jobs that we experience in our daily lives as well. We have heard numerous stories in recent years about increased stress and PTSD in law enforcement and first because due to staffing shortages and an increased divisive political rhetoric. We know that first responders can be in stressful situations, and also that when they go to some of these situations, that children are placed in very traumatic and stressful situations. The Woodbury Police Department, Officer Sachs here, has found a creative way to help ease the stress of victims and children and of our officers who are responding to these events. And that way is through Otis, the therapy dog here that you see sitting next to Officer Sachs. The Star Tribune story in your packet talks about Detective Adam Sack and his partner Otis, the therapy dog, and how they have been first responders in the Woodbury community. House File 4215 provides an undesignated appropriation to the Department of Public Safety for grants to organizations that train therapy dogs for placement in law enforcement agencies. DPS determines which of these local law enforcement agencies receive the therapy dogs, with preferential treatment given to those agencies that have high related trauma incidents, PTSD, and exposure to high stress incidences. Reporting on the grant, on the use of grants is required. So I would like to turn it over to my testifier and have him explain the necessary of this bill.
All right, well, welcome to the committee, Detective Sack and Otis, who I don't know if people saw, but as soon as the house photographer came up to take a picture, Otis got up and hammed it up.
He's completely we're here.
So welcome to you both to the committee. Please introduce yourself and begin your testimony.
Thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair, representatives. My name is Adam Sack, and I'm a detective with the Woodbury Police Department. I am currently assigned to our community support team, which is a unit that specializes in situations involving mental illness, substance abuse, and homelessness. This team is made up of myself as a police officer, an embedded Washington County social worker who is a licensed mental health professional, and my partner, Otis here, who is our department's therapy dog. We respond out to crisis calls together and follow up after a crisis has occurred. Woodbury Public Safety got Otis as a puppy in December of 2021 as our department's first community support dog. As his handler, I attended several obedience training courses with Otis, and this last fall, we obtained our therapy dog certification through Pet Partners. As our first responders return to the building after a stressful emergency call for service, Otis is there to greet them upon their return with a tail wag looking for a belly rub. Otis is a friendly, smiling presence around our department who mingles with our public safety staff around the office and offers them comfort and support when they need it most. Otis has also become well-known in our community through community engagement events and school visits. He provides comfort on crisis calls to dog lovers and provides a calming presence and non-judgmental companionship to those who are struggling. I've been able to bond with youth who experience struggles with behavioral issues by bringing them in to help train and work with Otis. In 2023, Otis helped with 43 different presentations and community events and assisted me with 68 different crisis calls and follow-up visits in the field. Overall, this has been a beneficial and effective program for our community. In Woodbury, we have the fortune of having the support of citizen volunteers with an established nonprofit called the Woodbury Police Canine Fund. The Canine Fund raised funds to purchase Otis along with ongoing expenses for the program. While we are incredibly grateful for their support, I recognize that this is unique and most communities do not have this established support. Since we have started this program and word has gotten out, we've had many inquiries from other law enforcement agencies who are interested in starting a similar therapy dog program to help support the wellness of their first responders and the communities they serve. This bill would help provide funding for the other communities to develop similar programs that would be of help to first responders and community members across the state.
And with that, I'd like to stand for any questions, Chair.
All right, great. Before we do that, do we have any other testifiers, any public testifiers? All right, I'm not seeing any, so we'll move on to member discussion. Chair Becker-Finn.
Thank you, Chair Moeller, and thank you, Representative Mueller, for bringing this bill forward. We have a therapy dog in training in the city of Roseville. That's also, shout out to Ashes, still in training, still a puppy. But we've seen already how impactful even just having a dog in training available to both our fire department and our police department has been. I'd sent you an email, but didn't get a chance to connect. And so suggestion, I know we're laying this over, but would love if we could include all first responders. As we know, our police departments and fire departments often work together, and it may be the situation like it was in Roseville where the fire department we had someone on staff already, our assistant chief, who is willing to do that work and would hate for that to be a reason that a community that could benefit from this could at least apply. So I thank you for bringing the bill forward. It's a great idea, and I've seen firsthand the impact that these dogs can have for folks who are dealing with trauma. And finally, just want to thank all the individuals, foundations, and vet clinics who right now donate time and resources for these dogs to be healthy and continue doing their work. So thanks for bringing this forward.
Thank you, Chair Becker.
Right, and did you, Representative Mueller, have a comment on the expansion perhaps to other first responders?
Thank you, Chair Mueller, and thank you, Representative Becker-Finn. That email got lost in the sea of emails that we get, and so I appreciate that. Since it is being laid over, I wouldn't mind being able to look at the bill language and see what we can do with it.
Thank you. Representative Hewitt.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Representative Mueller, for this bill. As being familiar with this space, we're seeing this happen more and more. I know that Alina and two other ambulance agencies have now implemented the support animal for their people, which is really important in that space. And like Becker-Finn, I would like to see this expanded, definitely. I think it goes a long way, and it's so funny because this hasn't been a new concept. Most of you grew up knowing that firehouses have Dalmatians. And so it's been around a little while, but it's great that we're seeing it. And I have to commend Woodbury here. As we hear about the embedded social worker, this is a great use. And you saw it, I'm sure you see it when you're out there. And with our embedded social workers, with police officers, and to have a support animal, I'm sure we're seeing great success. It'd be great to have you come back and tell us more about that sometime.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Kern.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you so much, Representative Mueller, for this bill. I think I sent my request to sign on last night, so thank you for bringing this forward. As folks know, this is an issue that's near and dear to my heart, and the impact of something like this is more than twofold, but just to sort of highlight those two areas, we talk a lot about how we respond to different mental health calls. And I think any ideas that we bring to the table that can help with that, that are, maybe a little outside the box, or we're starting to see some communities use it. If that's working, let's use that more, right? So I really appreciate that aspect, along with the clear comfort and therapy that animals can bring to a law enforcement agency. I know when I was a dispatcher and a reserve sergeant in my earlier days, when we had animals that were lost and yet to be found, we would have them at the station, and if they were nice and gentle, we would let them run around, and we would give them some love and cuddles because we needed them to sometimes. So that was our way of kind of getting in the pets that we needed without having the funding and an actual dedicated dog. So very important stuff. Really appreciate your work on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and I just have one question. Do you know how much it costs approximately to train one dog, Detective Sack?
So this can vary a lot. There's a lot of different ways to go about it, and there's several organizations that offer certification for therapy dogs. So for us, the cost was pretty minimal. It was a few $100s for the training, I would say, for the combination of obedience, therapy dog prep school, and the certification process. I'd say the majority of the expenses is going to lie with the initial purchase of the dog, and then the equipment that you would need, depending on which first responder you have the dog with, accommodations for kennel, or if there's special vehicle accommodations and all that.
All right, great, thank you. And I'll just note to what my colleagues have said too, I work in Hennepin County when we're not in session, and we have a courthouse dog now in Hennepin County, and I know that victims and witnesses and staff all find it to be a valuable resource, so thank you so much. Any closing comments, Representative Mueller?
Thank you, Chair Mueller, and thank you, all of you, for your support on this. What I'm hearing is that we need a therapy dog here at the legislature. That's what we're hearing.
No objection.
I just want to point out, there are several letters in your packet that have been supporting of this bill, MPPOA, including in Hennepin County, Mary Moriarty. I did receive something also from a national, this morning, I think we got a letter of support from a national organization. So this is something that we are recognizing that it's going to be a benefit to our first responders. I did want to acknowledge Representative Becker-Finn and Representative Curran. Thank you for your support on that. I intentionally left the appropriation blank because I know you probably haven't received your target yet, but whenever that happens, I'm really hoping that we can prioritize our first responders with something that's going to really help our mental health of our first responders. So I'm sure that before they leave, Otis would be more than willing to get a couple scratches from legislators. And with that, I would like to renew my motion to lay over the bill.
All right, thank you. And just, I think I brought the motion, so
Oh,
just
sorry,
for the
never mind.
record,
You can do
I will
it.
renew my motion and lay over House File 4215 as amended. Thank you again. Thank you, Detective. Thank you, Otis. We appreciate it. I'm sorry for whoever has to go after Otis.